Chris Spears says that we have us a shortage. Well, but if 450,000 CDLs were issued. How is that even possible? You don't have a driver problem. You've got a dignity problem. Because when you raise the standards, that's simple. When you raise the standards, drivers don't leave. They line up. Stay tuned, because what we're about to show you is going to flip the script on everything the ATA wants you to believe. Greetings to you, truck lovers and truth seekers from all across the United States of Truckin. Boss man here behind the golden TIB microphone. This is Truckin' Headlines. Critical thinking fueled by faith and sanctioned by God himself. Opinion fit for today's truckers, built by truckers, and the collaborative think tank for advanced trucking journalism. I want to put forth every chance I can an environment where you, the person watching me, can put forth an honest conversation about the things that affect trucking today. If you would like to support this channel and help us grow, I encourage you, look into our memberships. I actually pay more attention and give you guys early access to the videos that I create. On the headlines tonight, talking about Chris Spear and the ATA, banking on something you never look into. They've been marching around Washington with this headline number of 78,000 drivers short, screaming it from podiums and position papers like it's gospel. But according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the truth tells a different story. There's over 240,000 truck job openings every year. More than 450,000 new CDLs were issued last year. You heard me say in the open, I'm going to repeat that. 450,000 new CDLs were issued last year. Now, grant you could sit here and debate it all day long, whether half of them or 90% of them were foreign-based or non-foreign-based. Whole different video. We'll have that conversation later. But that's not a pipeline issue. That's a people issue. Because on one hand, you've got the ATA saying we're short. On the other, you've got the Bureau of Labor Statistics telling you that we've got nearly 500,000 drivers put through the mill last year. Realize once again who Chris Spear is. Chris Spear is a man working at the ATA representing the major mega carriers, the major corporate influences in trucking. He does not represent the individuals, the independents like you and me. That so-called shortage gives cover for the big money donors that help his organization stay afloat. They don't want seasoned veterans, people like you and I that have been in the industry for years, that know the ins and outs, where to go, when to say no. They want constant churn, cheap onboarding, and no accountability. So let me break it down. You don't have a pipeline problem. You've got a leakage crisis, a self-made crisis, one they created, one they profit from, and one they blame you for. So stick around if you want to hear my thoughts. 5 ideas of ways we can solve this problem. So let's take a look at what we've talked about tonight and expose it. Let's validate it. Not with speculation, not with opinions, but with the industry itself. All right? Earlier, I referenced a July article from trucker.com. Said the title of the article is "It's Time to Rethink Your Recruiting Strategies." Today's truck drivers are younger and more ethically diverse. And it's a smooth read. It's plenty of charts, forwarding quotes, everything you need to know. But underneath all that polished language is Exhibit A and what I think is really broken. Here's what the article makes clear. The average trucker is now 47 years old, aging out rather quickly. The older are getting older faster, and the youngers, they're interested. All right. Millennials and Gen Zs hold just 38% of the CDLs, despite being over half the workforce. All right. Women still represent under 4%. They're trying their damnedest. They're trying to put more women in the workforce, but still at magic numbers 4. CDL issues is steady, but retention, as Dollar referenced a minute ago, black hole. Mega fleets are still bleeding talent after 90 days. No one's fixing the churn. And yet, here's where the story turns from facts into fiction. Some of the very leaders in this industry, ATA backed voices and such, are still pushing this fantasy fix. Quote, we just need more 18-year-olds and open the gates to interstate travel. Okay, that's it. Really? That's your big idea? How's that supposed to work in an industry where insurance carriers won't even touch a driver until they've had 3 years of experience? Tell me that one, Einstein. They can't rent a car, but you want them to haul a 53-foot trailer down the highway in I-80 in February without the right experience. Who's thinking up these damn schemes anyway? This isn't innovation, it's insanity. And here's the other thing. Another creator pointed out that I want to dovetail on. You put an 18-year-old behind the wheel of a semi. You can put them to work for the mega carriers. Why? Because they're self-insured. But the moment a small independent carrier like you or me tries to run them with our numbers, our insurance companies won't even touch them. We can't use them. So this brainchild idea, guess who it favors? Mega carriers.
How do you get experience if you can't drive out of the state?
That's that old thing, chicken or the egg. How do you get experience if you can't get a job? How do you get a job without experience? Blah, 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 blah. Do you have the answer to that one? I don't think anybody's figured that out yet.
You need a small corporation, small company to take a chance and insure you.
Yep.
And
take a chance, yeah.
When the insurance jumps $20,000 a year just because that guy's under the age of 25, right now with the way the rates are,
yeah,
still running around in the 1980 rates, I can't afford to put anybody in there. Hell, I have a hard enough time if I tried to put Thumper on as a driver.
You don't need a federal task force to solve the problem. You don't need a pilot program, and you don't need Chris Spears' permission. All you need to do is raise the standards. 5 simple things any carrier can do today could end this churn. I'm going to read them off, and I'm going to let you know what I think, and I want you to tell me in the comments or our VR studio line right now if you think I'm right. First of all, pay for all time work. As we've talked here just a minute ago, stop acting like detention, layover, and unpaid wait time don't exist. If the clock is running, the meter should be too. Give the driver what he's due. Second thing, guarantee predictable home time. 90% of these companies out here, and I know many of them I could mention, won't even think about it. Grumpy, you could probably vouch for that. Not a maybe, not a hope, but an actual plan you can work with. Not that you have to give up your truck and your vacation time, but at least let the guys have predictable home time. Drivers aren't asking to be home every single night. They're asking, just don't lie to me. Third thing is driver spec equipment. A lot of times we get equipment from these mega carriers and some less than reputable fleets. They're not exactly all that dependable, much less spec for the job we're doing. And I'm sure 2 of these guys in this conversation tonight can vouch for exactly what I'm talking about. You want someone to sit in a truck 70 hours a week. You want to make sure that it's fit for the job they're doing, not just a plastic box on wheels. You give them the seat that fits and a cab that breathes and an APU and whatever else they need to do the job, and you're going to keep that driver in that truck a lot longer. Fourth thing, apprenticeships and mentorships. I've been big on this since I started this channel, and I think this is something that many of you miss. Stop treating rookies like they're throwaways. Actually take the time to ask vital questions. Vital questions that might suss out some of the things they're doing wrong. Take a moment, show them the right way. Show them there's a better way. Pair them with the people that know how to do the job. Let wisdom train the workforce, not burnout. Stop churning over 500,000 numbers. Instead, put the serious numbers behind the idea that there's people out here like you and me that are willing to show everybody how it's done. Last thing is respect. Treat respect as a policy, not a perk. Stop celebrating the 5-year guy when you neglect the guy that's just gotten hired 5 weeks ago. Company culture is your most valuable freight and commodity. And yet many in this industry, and I do mean many with a capital many, treat drivers like they're commodities. Respect as a policy will get you a much more resilient workforce. And most fleets today aren't even doing that. That is a downright shame. Let's call it plain. We can't raise the standard while we're letting bad actors drag everyone plus the industry through the dirt. I'm talking about carriers who force solo drivers to log fake team miles. You know, you got that single driver behind the steering wheel, and he's all of a sudden, he's taking care of himself, plus Carlos too. Carlos never existed, but you're expecting to drive 21 hours and not have a wreck, right? Run illegal resets and then dare the driver to say something. Ignore maintenance until DOT flags you and puts your truck out of service, right? That's another one. Short safety compliance because it's too expensive. These are the things these bad actors are doing. And then we're reading about it in, truckin.org, or we're seeing it on Bonehead Truckers. Come on, people. These aren't innovators. They're liabilities. These people need to be stopped, found, stopped, and gotten out of the industry. So tell me, if 10% of the carriers raise their standards, do you think it would force the rest to follow? And now you've seen the truth. The shortage is not about headcount. It's about standards. We haven't paid attention to our standards in so long, we don't even know what they are. I've just given you 5 ways in which we can change. Raise those standards. Deeply consider it. It's not about age. It's about respect. It's about recruiting, about retaining the people who've already showed up and making sure that they're qualified to do the job.
There are a lot more people out there that believe the same thing as other people do. It's just you speak louder when you stick together.
Yep.
So, and God bless everybody, EMTs, firefighters, military personnel. They don't get the love like they should. And just like Bo and I always say, we don't do it just for you and you, or for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Amen there. God bless it. Guys, we're coming to you at least 2 or 3 times a week with Truckin' Headlines. Serious attitude, serious solutions for a serious industry. Look for us during the week with Truckin' Headlines, on the weekends with Truckin' Frontline. Down below, like and subscribe. Become a member if you want to support and make trucking great again. Till next time, guys, remember, it's the trucks that make the deliveries, but it's you that makes the difference. Till next time, remember, keep it real, keep it safe, and keep it rolling.